Okay, we're live. This is group 5, and we are doing the TBL on, our topic was Brain Train, and Brain Train Memory Gym series. So, a little bit about it. Their motto is changing the way people think. It was founded by a neuropsychologist in 1989, and that it's a software that tests cognitive abilities and provides accurate diagnoses and training for remediation. It offers psychological testing and these gyms on topics like memory or attention. And the activities are game-like to keep the user motivated instead of just using pen and paper. It's like a video game. It's expensive. For one station for 5 years, it's $1,995, and you get trained in Richmond, Virginia, at Braintree Learning Center, and they give you the step-by-step of how to use it.
Okay, and then just to preface this whole thing, one of the frequently asked questions on their website was, has any research been completed using Brain Train Memory Gym? And the answer was no. The Memory Gym system was developed based on existing research on working with working memory training. So.
Okay, so to get started answering the questions, the first one is untestable. Is the treatment unable to be tested or disproved? And the answer to that is yes. The Brain Train Memory Gym series is untestable because it makes claims stating that the memory builder and everything focuses on nonverbal cognitive skills development, but then it also says that through that it targets verbal reasoning and language skills. It also claims to improve visual and auditory attention, working memory, problem-solving skills, and mental processing speed. But nowhere does it explain how it improves any of these things. And then there's no research done actually on the memory gym series. Then the second question is unchanged. Does the treatment approach remain unchanged even in the face of contradictory evidence? The answer to that is also yes. And unlike the Speakeasy in the Thin article, the website for the Brain Train also provides a long reference list, but none of the reference lists provides clinical research specifically about the Brain Train Memory Gym series or describes its long-term effects.
Okay, and then the third question was confirming evidence. Is the rationale for the treatment approach based only on confirming evidence with disconfirming evidence ignored or minimized? And I said, so the website lists a lot of research articles that defend computerized cognitive training for ADHD, working memory, and cognitive dysfunctions, reading, traumatic brain injury, cognitive training with older adults, Alzheimer's and dementia, and cognitive training in schools. But I was unable to access many of the articles, but most of the abstracts did not mention brain train explicitly at all. One article did list the program in a data chart, but findings were insignificant. And the website looks credible by listing so many articles, but none of the studies directly support brain training. And then in searching through other websites, I wasn't able to find any evidence that was disconfirming, other than the one medical analysis article that I mentioned, which says that brain train's effects were insignificant. And then the fourth question was anecdotal evidence. Does the evidence in support of the treatment rely on personal experience and anecdotal accounts? And I said that the evidence provided for the rationale are really varied, including like meta-analyses, randomized controlled trials, pre and post tests, etc. But like I said before, there hasn't been any research at all working with the memory gym, the Brain Train Memory Gym, explicitly. It's all just on working with work training.
So the next question was, are the treatment claims incommensurate with the level of evidence needed to support those claims? And I said yes. The whole site makes these really huge claims, but none of them actually are backed articles that pertain to brain train. So the site itself has research bibliographies that are available for the four main topics used for brain train, which is the IBA, neurofeedback, cognitive training, and TNT reading. But and there are tons of articles, but none actually explore the effectiveness of the brain train program. So, for example, there's an article listed on the web feedback, and it's if neurofeedback is efficacious treatment for ADHD, but does not examine the use of computer-based programs for the treatment of it. It just explores neurofeedback and its effectiveness for the disorder of ADHD. So no, it does not. It's not backed with, or does not support these claims with research. And the second question, or the sixth question, are treatment claims unsupported by evidence that has undergone critical scrutiny? So yes, again, these treatment claims, again, there's huge research databases, but and these articles have undergone scrutiny. They mention each other within the articles. They're not all Braintrain just doesn't just provide research articles by one author, so it's not biased in one way. But these articles haven't been critically scrutinized that pertain to Braintrain. So there's mixed outcomes of the therapy. Braintrain makes these claims that to make great progress, but the articles haven't critically analyzed the results. So, and there's also another point in another article, and it was exploration of computer games and rehabilitation for brain damage. And it pretty much mentioned that a lot of these programs, and I didn't even mention Brain Train, but a lot of these programs test the patient, do therapy, like 4 weeks of 30 minutes of computer-based program training, and then test again with the same test. So it's just pretty much checking, like testing for the test and making these claims that people get better, but it doesn't check like functionality or generalization. So you can say you get better on a test, but on the computer, but what does that really mean for memory that's functional and usable? So.
Okay, so number 7 was disconnected. Is the treatment approach disconnected from well-established scientific models? And I said yes. Based on the website for the product, it claims that it is supported by multiple research articles, but when you take a closer look at all the research articles, like they said before, they just describe general cognitive strategies and say that they're useful, and then the website claims that they use these same cognitive strategies in their computer programs, but there's no actual scientific proof that was done that says that these are actually the same programs in their treatment. And then for 8, it's new terms. Is the treatment described by terms that appear to be scientific, but upon further examination are found not to be scientific at all? So again, I said yes to this, and pretty similarly, the product again claims that it appears at least to be very scientific and looks very good until you look further into the research and you see that there are tons of studies listed, and they seem and say that they have the same basic concepts, but none of the studies actually even use the Brain Train Memory Gym series in it. So there's no real scientific proof to back it up.
All right. And question 9 was, oh, let me pull up, sorry. Okay. Grandiose claims, or grandiose outcomes. Is the treatment approach based on grandiose claims or poorly specified outcomes? The answer is yes. The treatment approach claims that it's very good for all of these specific disorders, but actually doesn't provide research that it specifically is effective in improving any of these disorders. And 10 is the treatment claim to make sense only within a vaguely described holistic framework. And the answer to this one is yes as well, because it's not specified. It just explains how it's good for each disorder, like patients or stroke patients and people with ADHD, but those disorders are so different that it's hard to generalize how this program is good for those two so different disorders. So the answer to all of the questions was yes. So on the continuum, this is considered pseudoscience because there is not good research to back it up. And yeah, so pretty much it's not a reliable program to use.
Okay, that's it.